How do you deal with rumors? So let's say there's someone in the social circle who's talking behind your back, making some kind of rumors, such as, this is what someone was asking me, that some jealous person was telling everyone, while he's organizing events that he slept with someone who he hasn't slept with, and just lots of negative shit. And it affects his events, basically. So how do you deal with rumors that kind of attempt to damage your reputation and what you're doing?
What a great question, man. This is something. So one of the common ones that I get is, whenever I talk to these spurgs on YouTube or on Twitter, one of the things they say is, "Hey, man, nice job paying those girls to hang out with you." That's what they'll say. "Hey, Michael, nice job paying." Now, of course, my response is always the same response. It's been the same response since the beginning. And it's the same response for any one of you guys. It's a $20,000. If you can find one single girl I have ever paid to come to any of my events, $20,000 if you can find a single girl I've ever paid to hang out with me or to be in any of my photos. One more time. Now, have I been paid to be at events where other girls are like a bikini competition? That's different. I'm not talking about that. That's not my money. I'm not putting up money for a bikini competition. What I'm talking about is any kind of babes in Toyland, any kind of party, my birthday party, no girls were paid to be there. Any girl that's ever been paid to hang out with me or be in my content, it's real easy. You guys can go on my Instagram. You can message all 500, 600 of them. If you can find one single girl that says that I paid her to hang out with me at all, they'll tell you in 2 seconds. Then I'll give you 20 grand. Okay. But the thing is, nobody backs up their words. They just want to talk shit and they they scurry off into the distance. It's really interesting. Dr. Gad Sad, he talked about this. It's really kind of an interesting concept. When guys serve in military units together, they trust each other throughout their life because the amount of sacrifice that was necessary in order to do that thing was so high, you can't really fake that signal. Does that make sense? So basically what you do is you sort of truth, the amount of likelihood of truth has to do with the amount of sacrifice. Does that make sense? How much sacrifice are you willing to do if you believe that truth? Like, I'll give you an example. Like, like, I don't want to say the words that gets me in trouble, but the governor of Florida, who's like, "Oh, don't close these schools, no masks, whatever." And then he's also triple, you know what I'm saying? He's got the thing in him triple 3 times. Like that's an example of like where he's saying one thing and he's doing another thing, right? So that's what I would say. Like, how much were you willing to sacrifice in order to say the thing that you're saying? What's a zero sacrifice? A zero sacrifice is a Twitter account with no avatar talking shit, spreading rumors. So because this is why I was trying to explain this to my girlfriend, Kylie, because she was listening to bullshit that other girls were saying. And I was like, do you understand those girls? It doesn't cost them anything to make those statements, but it costs me something to give you my phone and be like, "Here's my phone. Go through my phone and go ahead and find the conversation that you heard that I had." But I do that. It's like, no, Michael's making the sacrifice. His sacrifice is greater. Her sacrifice is a rumor. And that's kind of how you have to like look at it from the world when you're receiving this information. Now, this is also the reason why like any of these like pop-up websites that have bullshit, like the whole thing about apparently Jamie Foxx had a stroke, and then it comes out like a couple hours later he didn't have a stroke. It's like what that kind of shit. Like stop believing that shit. So here's the thing, Ice. When you're dealing with, the only thing that I've seen that's effective is you keep pushing forward with more content. If I fuck up in one of my reels, the best way for me to get over that is to post 30 or 40 or 50 more reels. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
You guys remember there was a situation where like Kylie started yelling on one of these podcasts, right? And then like people try to hound me over it. I didn't really care. Like it wasn't a big deal to me. Afterwards, we're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you let your girl raise her voice like that in the show." And I was like, I didn't even remember it, like, to be fair. And then, but what I did was I just ignored it. And then I kept doing other stuff and like, it didn't make any difference. And then Kylie came on Fresh and Fit and she apologized for it. And I honestly didn't even remember. Someone had to show me the video. And I saw like all these dudes just like pounding on it, but it wasn't a big deal. Like it didn't make any difference. You would just own it and you would move forward, but you'd continually make additional content, Ice. And that's the way I would do it. So you keep doing events, right? There were people who would say things about me in my events a long time ago, but after you do 5 years of successful events and bigger celebrities come to those events, eventually you get to a point where those things can't be true anymore, right? Like when LeBron James is a rookie and you say he's going to be a bust, by the time you get to year 20 and he's won 4 championships, you know what I'm saying? And he's like a 19-time All-Star, at some point that shit doesn't work anymore. You see what I'm saying, Ice? So you prove them wrong with your works, not your words.
Yeah. I remember seeing that clip that you just mentioned. Like, what a way to overanalyze how they were criticizing you. It's like, what? They never had a girlfriend before.
No, it's not that they never had a girlfriend before. They never had a girlfriend that hot before. And so they have to pick at something I'm doing. Tristan saying, unless you're Skip Bayless. The problem is people listen to Skip Bayless, but nobody believes Skip Bayless. Nobody like takes Skip Bayless seriously. Skip Bayless doesn't know much about sports. He doesn't really do much studying. He just spews out his opinions to piss people off. Skip Bayless is a lot like, I'm trying to think, it's a lot like Nick Fuentes. He just says things that aren't true in order to like stir up people. Nick Fuentes the other day said that like Joseph Stalin was a great leader. Like stupid. Like that's not even offensive. It's just stupid. It's like not true. Right. So I think that's where that whole kink comes from. I specifically to your question, I just produce more. Right. Mm-hmm. Instead of worrying about
keep fucking moving forward
and try to do, but like, so if I do one reel that's a fuck up, I do 40 reels after it, right? And I don't even acknowledge the fuck up. Got it? If I do an event and somebody says, oh, so-and-so had a bad time at the event, you know what I do? I do 40 more events and I don't even acknowledge the last one. Right? There were girls talking about, there was one girl who like, she didn't make top 10 in one of my bikini competitions and she didn't make top 10 because she didn't fucking try. She actually didn't do the requirements that we asked her to do. So she starts bitching about it, bitching to other girls. So you know what we did? We did another bikini competition the next week that was even bigger. It's like a bulldozer. You just roll over the competition. Now, if you truly are a fraud, then this won't work. If you truly are the fraud they say you aren't going to be able to do the thing I just said. You know what I'm saying? That's the issue. One of the problems, I'll tell you what's really funny. I go to these sales conferences and I listen to these guys talk about when they do Facebook ads and when they do YouTube ads. And they start saying, man, YouTube's better because Facebook, you can't really sell anything. And because of ROAS, it doesn't really work and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And then I tell them, yeah, I'm doing 26-1 on Facebook. Well, the reason why is because my offer is fucking fantastic compared to theirs. Their offer is for debt reconsolidation. And my offer is to live an unbelievable life full of amazing people. So because of that, that's the reason why, like, it's funny because whenever we talk to some of these salespeople, they're confused because my ROI on my ads are so high and the close rate for my closers is so high, they can't even, they can't conceptualize it. Then they see my advertisement. They're like, oh, okay, now I understand. I see what that's happening. Right. Cool. Yeah, no, it's funny. Glenn, you're saying that because I was literally going to interview Rich Sheffrin today, and Rich Sheffrin's like, you can't work on Facebook anymore. Everyone's moving to YouTube. YouTube has been nothing but caca for me. YouTube has been like, I get 30% ROI from YouTube and 2,600% on Facebook. Let me say it one more time. My Facebook ads get 2,600% return. My fucking YouTube ads get 30% return. That's where I am right now. TikTok ads don't even get any return. Most of TikTok engagement, I think, is fake. Said that a couple times. All right, cool. Does that answer your question, Ice?
Yeah, definitely.